Welcome back to the social media program. I'm your host, Mikey. Today is whether you're a likable person. Being likable is everything when it comes to being on social media, and I will share some context with you, and you're going to have to determine whether you're a likable person or you're unlikable, and what you think you are versus what the population thinks you are may be a completely different story. We'll get into that next. Back in 2008, when I first started this whole journey, I didn't even realize this was going to be a business. I turned to teaching online just for something to do. I was bored with my life. I had nothing to show for it. And I thought, well, I can show people that I know how to crochet. The thing about it is that I have always maintained the fact that I am just a small guy from a little town. So I was in the town of Walkerton, Ontario when I started this whole thing. I'm now in the village of Greenwich here in Nova Scotia. I'm a small town guy kind of person. So with that comes the whole idea of being understanding that the world does not revolve around me as a person, and that it is we, the community. One thing I started when I did all this thing is that I wasn't necessarily looking for friends, but I was looking for community because it was missing in my own area. And so to be part of a community, you are not just the leader of a community, you are with the community. So as I talked about in a past episode of being up on a soapbox, you have to make sure that you keep yourself in a relative state of mind that once people start to understand who you are and maybe you start getting the subscribers and chick, that you keep true to your personality. You just may be a bitch in person and it's coming across online and it's rubbing people the wrong way. So picture this, I have like 100 subscribers. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so popular versus what I have today. And I thought, well, maybe I can do some critiques on Big Brother, the TV show. And I decided to put on my glitter and gay it up and the whole personality. And people are saying, you know what, you're like this on this video, but on this video, you're coming across as quite nasty. And I thought, okay, well, there's a difference there. But what I was doing with the whole Big Brother critiques is that I was inflating my personality to, be somebody that I wasn't. And when you start acting, it does come across as that way. In person, I can be very introverted. I keep to myself. I keep my head down. I don't initiate conversation unless I have something relevant to say. I speak only when I'm spoken to, and that's just something that is my personality when I'm not on camera. However, when the camera comes on and I have something to share with you, or if I'm doing a presentation in front of a group of people, a whole different personality of myself comes out. And that's something that you have to understand about yourself, is that sometimes something like this can be your megaphone to bring your personality out. But you have to make sure that that personality that is coming out is also coming out in a way that reflects the person that you are. A great example is RuPaul, the TV show. And you see some of the queens, when they start talking in the diary room and they start talking shit about the other people, you realize, is that queen really actually likable, or is that queen a bit of a narcissist, or is that queen actually really quite humble and really just kind of going through the process of the competition? And you really do get a sense when you're watching that, is that who is going to be your favorite at the end? Is it going to be the queen that is literally going to steamroll over everybody, or is it going to be the queen that empowers everybody? And so in social media here, when you're online and you're presenting yourself, whether it's in words or whether it's in video presentation, no matter what the platform is that you have to make sure that you're maintaining what you believe is really your core personality. One of the things that Your Inspiration says about me is that when I started working back in 2010 with them versus 2023, I'm still the same person. My platform is a lot bigger, but behind the scenes, I'm still worried about people's financial economics when it comes to purchasing yarn. I'm still worried about the projects being diverse enough, and I'm still worried about a lot of things that really was my core values back in 2008, which makes me a level-headed person when it comes to this whole genre. So the nice thing about it is that if you can maintain that, it's not acting at all, it's part of your personality. However, I do find in the social media world, what you see online with my personality is not the same as what it is here at home. So Daniel and I, we drop language, we have a lot of wicked humor here at home that doesn't come across here as online because it's not appropriate for what I'm trying to do online. And so does that make me a different person? Yes and no, but you have to know where your limit is and when you're presenting yourself online, because sometimes like my humor can be quite crass and it can be quite mean at times. And what makes me laugh, I love good sarcasm, I love all that stuff, but for other people that sarcasm can be quite a turnoff. So there's another YouTube host that has a couple thousand subscribers. I really don't like the host. They're not teaching crochet, just so you know. And I really don't like the host because the host spends time on the videos and bitches about what the audience is not doing for them, not getting people to refer them enough. They're not as famous enough. They're not this enough and this enough. I'm like, you know what? We don't owe you nothing, honestly. You're either likable or you're not. And once you start going in that area, you might as well just close up shop and go home. Well, you're probably already home. Another example is somebody that runs a Facebook page that I absolutely cannot stand. Again, not in crochet. I just do not like the host. And the reason why I don't like the host is that the host keeps nailing everybody to the cross. As far as like when somebody steps out of line, the whole community gets a lecture of what that person did and said, you better not be doing this and this and this. And I thought, you know what? Why can't you take that person aside and just talk to them instead of constantly lecturing the community? And so it is stuff like that that is literally going to be a turnoff, whether you're a likable person or you're not. So you can phrase things different ways. You can do great things as far as like empowering people, but without actually, stomping on people's dreams too. And that is a fine line of communication that you need to master. The hardest thing about being a CEO, because I asked one of them, and I said, what is the hardest thing about your job? And he said, it's about empowering the people that are working for the company to want to put the company as a benefit. And he said, it's about maintaining the relationships within the company itself. So you truly are the CEO of your whole destiny here online, and how you present yourself and how you treat people and how you communicate is ultimately what is going to generate the best for you. So your channel topics, or your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever, Threads I guess is new, however you present yourself is going to be the difference of whether you're a likable person or not. And you sometimes have to grab the reality is that maybe, just maybe, you're not a likable person. For myself, there are some days I don't even like myself. So, but you have to be honest with yourself and to realize that the world does not revolve around you. And I think that's ultimately the goal for social media. When I come back around, most of this program that I keep thinking about is that the world does not revolve around me. And so I have a topic, I love to share about it, but ultimately, once the camera goes off or once I turn off for the day, people go on and live their lives. And that's something that you have to consider. So ask your friends, are you a likable person? And maybe even ask the harder question is that if there's something that is off-putting, what would you do to change it? And be aware that you may hear things that you may not enjoy, because when social media, you're definitely going to hear it. And my final message to you, though, is that sometimes you have to make the tough calls on social media on what you're willing to put up with your community and what you can just let slide, and the things that you need to put up with and just to let things ride and just go with it, versus the times that you have to put your foot down and say enough. The old saying is that you need to know when to pick your battles. Is this person posting something in a way that is upsetting you, or is it a way that, kind of like, just let it go? Because the more times that you interact on negative content to slap people in line, it's not just noticed by that one person, but it's everybody else. And that's going to be ultimately the difference. And remember that not everybody is going to like you. That's certainly true in my case.